All right. So now we're live. All right.
Oh, I get it.
See where it says live?
Yeah.
That's the first clue. So,
Got it.
all right. So, I'm going to let you go ahead and tell what day you've had. So you've been texting me back and forth, like, I don't know if I'm going to make it and all that. So I want you to go ahead and share, which some people are probably really confused if they've seen my story anyway, because I decided to put few little jokes in there that only me and you would find funny because nobody else even knows what that even means. But
Pretty much.
I was like looking for things. I'm like, ooh, that's funny. Ooh, that's funny. And then I sat here with my phone like this, waiting for you to see it. I didn't care if anybody else seen it. I just wanted you to see it because nobody else, if most people, if they seen it, they'd be like, what? She's so stupid.
Yeah, I saw the 3 A's and I was like, how did you find that? How did that come up? But yeah, so I was I feel so like, because I'm just like, I like to do things like with like flawlessness. Like I want to be flawless, right?
Flawless.
So my girlfriend's gonna be moving in, so I was going to I'm literally getting the food processor and like some of her things to put in my car. And, I put the Mini Cooper seats down. I'm thinking I'm doing the best job ever.
Wait a minute, pause. You're moving somebody out with a Mini Cooper?
Okay, let me explain. So the Mini Cooper does have space. I was only taking a few things.
It's like, okay, I'm going to take these 2 pair of shoes at a time.
Pretty much.
Okay, I live in Redneckville. We got like trucks and trailers and stuff. So whenever I'm like listening, imagining in my mind you moving with the normal things people have when they're maybe like trucks and trailers or like a U-Haul. And then you're like, well, we're putting stuff in the Mini Cooper.
Yeah. It's like a spoon, a fork, and a food processor. That's pretty much what I fit.
That's all you can fit. Yeah.
Yeah, and like a fan. Like I could fit a couple of things, but we have the U-Haul for like Saturday. So we're not only using, that would be weird if we were only using the Mini Cooper. Like
that makes me feel better. That makes me feel better because I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, this is just the preliminaries. It's like a sport. You do the prelims and then you have the main event and then you have like the title fight. So so I put the keys like in the trunk while I was moving these things out, and I was like, all right, I'll just like pick that up, before I close it. And I closed
Stick this in my Mini Cooper. Bam.
Yeah, I was just like, and I slammed the trunk, and as soon as I did that, I was like, all right, and I went like this, like open it. I'm like, no way. And I really thought the title of this should be like locked in car due to Nutter Butters, because I had 3 packs of Nutter Butters in my pocket, and I thought those were my keys.
No, why? I'm really like, I can understand some things, but I'm not a big Nutter Butter fan. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I've ever eaten a Nutter Butter. It doesn't even sound good. I don't like those type of things. But let's imagine that I liked Nutter Butters, and then I'm imagining that they're in a package and the package is going to be a lot larger than your keys, unless you got one of those like key systems going on with your like all your keys, and it's like all the keys. So you have one of the giant key systems.
Yeah, kind of. It's like low key giant key. It's like it's about like 2 degrees from giant key.
I need you to draw me a diagram of that, please.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't even have any objects.
So, okay, Nutter Butters are what? Roughly this big. And like
they're like, I had packs. Like, hold on.
You had like whole packs of Nutter Butters shoved in your pocket.
Yeah, I had packs, Maria. Like, I had packs of Nutter Butters.
Because that's how you move. Wait a minute. So
when leave the house without Nutter Butters.
When you make your moving checklist, it goes like this: Mini Cooper,
Yep. Starts with that.
Nutter Butters. Okay,
Yes.
what else? So Mini Cooper, Nutter Butters,
A food processor.
food processors, a fork and a spoon. I think you said so.
Yeah,
Okay.
fork and spoon.
So we got all the necessities here to
Yeah.
be able to move, of course. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
So you trek out to start to help to move your girlfriend. And then like what happened?
Yeah, the keys, I left them in the trunk because I just put them down for like 5 seconds.
And then you shut the trunk.
I just put them down for 5 seconds.
That's usually how it goes. It's usually how it goes. So then you had to call AAA, right?
Yeah, I called AAA and they're like, they're very empathetic. They're like, oh no, I'm so sorry. We'll get somebody right out. So they send somebody and dude's like, oh, because of how your car is, these windows are like anti-theft. So just so you know, you got to sign this waiver just in case we break the window. Are you okay with that?
Have you ever noticed that anti-theft only means that like people that aren't actually thieves can't break in? Because I feel like that's all that means.
Like, what do you mean? Like, why is that? I want to know, why is that an option?
Rob says he wants a Nutter Butter. Rob's Nutter Butters I've never had them. They sound gross. And apparently they cause lots of problems. They cause all kinds of problems. So do you have like a
fan of soy lectin? You don't like that stuff, Maria? No. You don't want to eat soy lectin or cottonseed? What about high fructose corn syrup?
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on all of those things right now because that's not what the show is about. We can go down that rabbit trail at another day. Right now, I want to get back to you're in the Mini Cooper. You've locked your keys in. AAA comes in. And what happened after that? Was that it?
So he's like, you're going to need a locksmith. And I'm like, all right, no problem. Why wouldn't you send that the first point? Yeah. So I called AAA back and they're like, yeah, you don't have to pay for this, because it's in your plan. I'm like, okay, good. So then I had to call them because I'm like, where's this guy? He was supposed to be here like 30 minutes ago. They're like, oh yeah, we've been trying to reach you. You're going to need to take your car to the dealer. So that's where we're at.
So is that a positive or a negative experience with AAA?
I'm going to put it in between. It's going to be a middle because, do you not have like a database where you like look for the cars and be like, oh, you have this type of window? You would think. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't
it shouldn't be that hard. I wouldn't think it would be
that hard. How many people for this?
Yeah, I have a AAA membership now, and I've used it for a lot of good things, but I had a really terrible experience.
Oh my God, what happened?
It's been about 21 years ago now. That's how long ago it was. My oldest daughter was a tiny little baby. Like she was like 2 months old.
Right.
And we decided to go to the mall. And I'm like nursing every 2 seconds because she's like newborn, nursing every 2 seconds. And I had my sister with me and, we come out of shop and had all the bags and stuff. And I had a neon? What is that? A Chevy Neon or a Chrysler Neon? Whatever the Neon was is what I was driving at the time.
I know what you're talking about. Small car.
Yeah, it was a small car. So I opened the trunk and put all the bags in because I got a screaming baby. It's what a nurse, right? Put all the bags in. And my sister's back there messing around. My sister at the time, she's a lot younger than me. At the time, she's like 12, And she's messing around with the trunk. And I was like, I'm going to have to feed the baby before I put her in a seat or it's going to be bad. So we just lay everything there. Well, my sister shuts the trunk. So there we are outside. It's winter. I have a newborn. I'm nursing. So I got my boob all popped out and the world. And I missed the part where I said that I was going to tell you that inside the mall before all this happened, the 2-month-old, like if anybody has kids, they've probably experienced this, like crapped herself all up her back, all down my legs. So it is like the nursing baby poops. It was like yellow, and I had on like light colored jeans. So I have you gotta use your imagination here. I've got like the newborn nursing yellow baby poop stain on my leg, sitting out there in the winter, keys locked in the trunk. I call AAA. They come out there, same thing. You're gonna need a locksmith. So they called the locksmith, who you would think actually knows how to open locks. But apparently I'm sitting up there in the car because I'm trying to keep the baby as warm as possible. I got her like bundled and my sister's cold and I had some blankets. I had bundled her and I'm sitting there. So he's doing his thing back there. I'm thinking, I know the dude I'm thinking he knows what he's doing because he's a locksmith, right?
Right.
I go back there. After he gets done, he's wanting me to sign this paper. He freaking took a crowbar and just like pulled the lock out of my trunk. And I'm like, dude, I could have done that. I'm no locksmith and I could have done that. So I had this giant hole where my lock was supposed to be. And I had to redneck tie the trunk down. And then I had to get it in and get it fixed. I was like, that's not a locksmith. I was like, I could have done that.
Thief. That's a thief.
I was so mad. I called Triple. I'm like, listen, I was like, y'all are paying for my trunk. Right. And they're like, well, that's not, you're the one that called for that particular locksmith. I said, no, you gave me a list of locksmiths in the area. He was the only one from the list you gave me. Right. And I called him. Oh, it was not good. It was so not good. I was like,
that's ridiculous.
Rob said that Nutter Butters are sugar versions of fiber bars. Do they make you poop? I feel like they would make you not poop. No. That's like just my opposite. I feel like they would kind of clog the pipes there, but I don't know. Everybody's different. Let's see. Rob said, AAA towing. How can I help you? I just picked up my 92 Accord from your lot, and there is a huge turd in the backseat of my car. I feel like that's the voice he read it in my mind. Speaking of voices, you was texting me some story about some voices. What was going on with that?
So when I called freaking because Minnie does have their own roadside assistants, so I called them, and she's just like, I was like, hi, my name is Stacey Pryce. I have a situation. She's like, no problem, Mr. Pryce. I'll help you out with that. And I'm like, I always have these moments where like people they automatically just be like, yo, you're a dude. Yeah. You're a dude. Like Maria, when I went to go deliver this lady's food for Uber, she's just like, oh, I was hoping the guy wasn't going to leave it here. Thank you so much, sir. Like,
what? Why do you think that is?
I get it. I give off male energy. I understand, but
I don't feel like you give off male energy, though.
You don't think so? I think
no.
I do, but
maybe I give off male energy too. I don't know. I don't really know. I've never been called sir, but I also usually have kids hanging off me, so I feel like that escalates my femininity. If I've got like a child, I will give you one of mine and we'll try it out. We'll see. I get to pick the one.
You like to send them.
I'll like UPS sticker.
Yeah.
First class delivery.
Oh my God. So I need a kid with me, huh?
I think that's the plan.
Yeah, I told my girlfriend, I said, look, you won't even have to tell anybody that I'm a woman because they'll automatically assume I'm a dude and they'll just accept me.
So do you get mad when people are, when they call you sir? Is that like offensive? Or is that like,
I get really upset.
I'm trying to decide what you, that's why I was trying to decide, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Now I just let it go because I'm just like, I know who I am. So whatever. And I'll have my hair like, this is when it's worse, right? Not even now. It's usually when my hair is like out.
Well, I
get sir.
You think?
Am I giving off? Do I seem like I have high levels of testosterone at this moment?
No, but
what about? What about now?
No, but I also automatically know you as a female, so I don't know. Like, how are you? Like, practice your voice. Like, are you like going? Yeah. I mean, are you like?
I'm talking just like this. Like, and the funny thing is, when I texted you that today, I was on the phone and I'm like, I'm trying to make my voice sound higher.
Let me hear your high. Let me hear. I feel like I need to hear the example. So there's Stacey A, where she's talking normal on the phone. Let's hear that one.
My normal voice is like this. Like I talk like this, right? Yeah. Like if I do a voiceover, it's usually in this region.
And I feel like that is, if that was a male, and I know I'm stereotyping a little bit, but I wouldn't automatically be like, dude. I actually would automatically be like female, and I would be nervous that and I would actually be nervous because I've actually heard males that have a higher pitch, and sometimes on the phone I get nervous because I'm like, I'm pretty sure that it's a guy, but they've got a little bit of higher tone.
Right.
So I try to not pick. I try to word it in such a way that I'm not
done that.
choosing.
You're like, thank you, Jones.
Thanks so much, you.
Hey, you there.
Thank
you for being
you
a
so
customer.
much. Diana said, I finally caught you live. Yeah, we're just bullshitting right now. So this is so I mean, sometimes we'll get on here and we'll talk about super meaningful things that everybody needs to know. But right now we're talking about if Stacey sounds like a man.
Yo, I got it in customer care too, Maria. I always got sir.
Sir.
Like,
Maybe okay.
Okay,
Well, what? You were talking.
You're the best guy I ever spoke to. Thank you so much, young man. What's your name? And I go, Stacey. And they're like, okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I've never I don't think I've ever been mistaken for it. No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think. I don't think so. Not to my knowledge. But again, like most of my adulthood, I've been pregnant. So that usually pushes that over the edge. Well, I'm pretty sure I know what she is.
All right. I'm going to get these pillows, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just going to kind of like shove them.
So do a social experiment.
Do I look like a woman now?
No, you look like you're squeezing pillows. You look like a moron. That's what you look like. So you're welcome. I'm here for all love. So what we've learned from today, which is not much, is that Nutter butters and keys are not the same thing. So we're doing some takeaways here. Nutter butters and keys not the same thing. I feel like most people except for you knew that, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there anyway. Just in case.
Oh my god.
So and then I guess if you need a locksmith, go ahead and tell AAA on the phone, like immediately. Just be like, dude, I need a locksmith.
Yeah.
At the time, that's takeaway 2. Takeaway 3 is, don't guess people's genders if you're not sure, right?
Right.
Because
how do you ask?
I don't know that you ask. I think you do like I do, and you just like avoid it. I don't know if that is actually the right way to do it, but that's what I do. You dance around the subject, just like I do if I wonder if somebody's pregnant. I'm going to give you an example. If I wonder if somebody's pregnant, I don't say, hey, are you pregnant? Because then if they're not, it's going to be really bad. So I say, hey, do you have any kids? Because then usually they'll say, I have one and one on the way, or I'm pregnant with my first, or no, I don't have any kids. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I sneak attack it.
That's actually really smart.
Yeah, I'm a smart person. I know the difference between keys and Nutter butters. So that's what I would do. Yeah, sometimes it's tricky. It is tricky because especially if you're conscientious on not wanting to hurt people's feelings. I mean, some people don't care because they're assholes, but I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Yeah, so I'm always trying to think about what I should say or what I shouldn't say. I text you on all kinds of stuff all the time. Hey, can I say this? Is this okay?
And I'm in my head like, sure, but then if you tell me like where you're at, like probably not.
Yeah, because it's really it's one of those things where you don't want to have to overthink everything you do and say, right? But at the same time, you don't want to go out there and just like be an a-hole and guess and upset somebody. Does it upset you when somebody calls you sir, or you just roll your eyes and go on with it?
No, like I'm cool with it only because now it's like in the quote unquote gay world, what we do is we say like, what's your preferred gender pronoun? Like that's how we do it if we're like face to face or so, or we're in that safe space. But in everyday world, for example, when I used to do customer care, I would ask the customer, how shall I address you? And they'll be like, Barbara's fine, or Mr. So-and-so is fine. So that's the way I would get like kind of skate through it, because I still think there's a certain version of professionalism that has to happen in that connection when you're helping a customer over the phone. But for me, I'm just like, should I literally, what I think about is like, should I correct this person? Because there's time that goes in that. Like, I remember one time I was doing customer care and I was on the phone with this person, and it came down to that point. Like, I heard the hesitation at the end of the call, and he's just like, so he kept on asking me what my name was. And usually that's like an indicator of this person is unable to determine which gender I am.
And
So
Stacey can be male or female.
yeah, it can. Remember, Stacey Keach is a dude. You know what I mean? There's plenty of Stacey's that are male.
They were hoping it was something that was like easy, like they
like
were
Barbara.
Tom,
It's
Tom or
Barbara,
Barbara.
okay. But yeah, this guy, it came down to it. And he happened to be Jamaican too, which I thought was like extra funny. And he's just like, he's like, what was your name again? And I was like, Stacey. He's like, Stacey. It's like he's pondering, Stacey. And he's like, I don't want to offend you, but are you a boy or a girl? I was like, I'm a woman. It's okay. He's like, I am so sorry. And I was just like, dude, it's all right. I get it all the time. He's like, because it's true. I'm hearing the voice, but I can't really tell. And I'm like, it's fine. Like, it's totally, it's fine. Like, I've gotten this. I used to work at Toys R Us. I actually had shorter hair then. And that I could kind of be like, okay, your idea of what femininity is means not short hair. So that's probably what that was. You're looking for certain things. But, I don't know. Like, what do people look for to determine? You said I have to be pregnant and or have a child with me.
I'm just saying that's never happened to me, but those are some key factors to my background too. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. I mean, I think even if you're the most open person in the world, we all have accidental stereotypes. We've talked about this before. Absolutely. We all do. I mean, even if you're like the most open and you embrace everybody and as you should, but I mean, even if you're that person, you accidentally stereotype people all the time. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things that, you do like, I just was wondering I would think if you talked with a Jamaican accent, I'm going to get myself in trouble by saying this maybe, but if you talk to the Jamaican accent, I'm disclaiming myself from love. But if you talk to a Jamaican accent, a lot of people think like the longer hair with the Jamaican men, like you automatically stereotype that, or I have, because all the Jamaican men that I've ever known have had the longer dreadlocks.
Oh,
all of them.
All of them?
All of them. I mean, it's not like I'm like saying 204 or nothing. I mean, I think I've actually known and been friends with probably 4 or 5 Jamaican men, and then several Jamaican women. But like all of them had the longer dreads.
So the Jamaican women didn't have any locks?
They had locks, but actually the men's hair was longer than the women's. The women's that I was friends with had like shoulder length locks, and the men's were real long.
Right.
So like, I don't know, again, accidental stereotype. Like if I like maybe seeing somebody from far away and hearing them talk, I don't know. I mean, I still think your voice is on a higher octave. I mean, I guess it could be like a higher male octave, or a lower female. I don't know. But I'm also like my voice isn't super high, and my 20-year-old daughter, my second child, her voice is a little bit lower. She's gonna kill me if she hears this. She's gonna be like, yeah, because she hates her voice.
What?
She does. She hates her voice.
Aw.
She has a beautiful singing voice, though.
That's awesome.
Jim says he wears pink. There's nothing wrong with that. Dudes wear pink all the time.
Yeah, wear pink. Like, remember that? Like,
hey, Alex.
They used to say that, like, only real men wear pink, or like men can't wear that color. Like, why? Like, where does this come from? Like, somebody just starts it and then we just continue it because we agree. Like, how do we?
I don't even know.
Social norms begin. I
have no idea. I mean, I think it's like it's just always been. Think about it. Like automatically, baby's born. You're either blue or pink.
Right? Isn't that crazy? Like, and like the neutral color is yellow. Who decided that?
I don't know. And there's green too. There's a light green that's neutral too.
Oh, really? The light green is neutral? See, I never heard about that. I heard the yellow.
Yeah.
That is really interesting. I
have no idea. It's really weird stuff. It's like, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, I don't know. I sit and I think about like who decided these things, who decided even bad words. I've even, my kids have heard me talking about this sometimes. Really like, who said that's a bad word? Who decided that it's a bad word? And I'm like, because it's like, I don't know. It just is, okay?
Right. It just is. Like, God.
because that's a really good question that I also want to know.
Right. Yeah, there's some words that you've even said, and I'm just like, you'll like kind of
chicken and dumplings.
yeah, like you'll kind of what? Wait, what?
Remember chicken and dumplings? You were like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what the heck?
Just,
Yeah, I was just like, that goes together because I'm thinking dumplings like how my mom would make dumpling, like fried dumpling or like boiled dumpling or whatever. I'm thinking that, and I'm like, how you eat chicken with that? But that's
chicken and dumplings.
That's
like
not what you're talking
chicken
about.
and dumplings is a staple of the South.
Like,
and I'm
all
sad.
Of the South?
I mean, I've not lived in all of the South, but I feel like it is a staple of the South. It is definitely a staple of Tennessee, where I grew up.
Okay.
Most definitely. And I mean, people eat it around here. I'm in Southern Ohio. It's definitely one of those things that is a go-to. Chicken and dumplings.
Wait,
yes. Yeah. I'm right on the Kentucky-Ohio border.
Oh, I totally forgot that those states like touch.
Yeah. So even though I'm in Ohio, I'm right on the Kentucky border. So I'm kind of like, Hannah said her daughter keeps saying pissed. Pissed is one of those words. I can't decide if it's bad or not.
What, pissed?
Yeah. I mean, for a kid.
My parents don't like that word. Like,
everything sounds worse coming out of a kid's mouth, though.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that?
What did I just say?
I know. It's how it is. You don't think like frick. Like I've always said freaking crap. Frick, frick, frick. And then my kids would repeat it when they were, so little. And it just sounds so bad when they're like freaking crap. And you're like, oh, because it's just like, it sounds so bad. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Really bad. Yeah.
I was reading a book about etymology. I forget who it's by, but it's really interesting to see where words came from. And you know how many words are in the English language that somebody misheard from another part of the world and it became a standard? Like, no. I wish I had a great example, but my brain's still thinking about how my keys are locked in the car due to Nutter Butter.
Damn Nutter Butter.
I'm gonna write. Who is this company? Is this Nabisco?
Yeah, dear Nabisco. That's it. I've had enough. Never buying Nutter Butter again. Who's their competitor? I'm buying this brand instead.
Who competes with Nabisco? I don't know. Because they make so many things.
I don't know. I should know, but I don't.
That's all right. We'll figure it out on the next episode of.
I don't know. That's what we'll figure out. Go back to your words, though. I want to know more about that. So I never thought about that, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
That like people mishear something, and Hannah said Keebler. Hannah would know. Her mama, I think, works in that world.
Really? Oh my God. Yeah. I'm so geeked about it because it's just like, why do we say the thing? It's kind of like the F word. Like, that word originally was not a curse. I forgot what it is. But yeah, that, and I think the book, I have to get the title of the book. I would, but I don't want to leave the chat because I'm on my phone because I got locked out of my car. Due to But yeah, it was a great book. Because I was just like, I didn't know I was, because I always wonder about things about humanity, our words, our body language, how we got it, who started it, why.
Yeah.
And I looked up that book and I found it on Audible and I sped read it. Do you speed read?
Yes. I love speed reading.
Do you listen to it or do you read it?
I do both. I can do both, and I do speed read. And there's pluses and minuses to speed reading.
Yeah.
It's hard to turn off speed reading when you're used to speed reading, though.
Yeah.
And some things you don't want to speed read.
Right.
So, but it's really hard.
What speed do you listen to your books at?
I don't know. I'd have to look in Audible and see.
I do a 1.7 to 2.0.
I don't remember what I got to say that. I have whatever. I was listening to somebody and they suggested a speed and I took that speed. I don't remember what it is though.
Okay.
I was just like, that sounds good.
Yeah. It's just
Power suggestion. Okay, I'll do it. That's exactly how I started podcasting. Somebody's like, you should use a podcast. I'm like, okay.
You know what's so awesome? I listened to, was it February 26th or something like that? You did your first podcast of this year.
That's when I launched it. It's funny because I recorded it way before that. And then I recorded it because I was told to do a podcast. You should do a podcast because I was doing live speaking engagements. And they're like, you should do a podcast. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then I record it because I'm like, I'm going to podcast. And then I record it and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. I had no idea what to do after you talk into the computer. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, you're going to put it places. And I don't know what to do with any of this stuff. So, yeah. And then I decided to go ahead and launch it after I figured it out. So
I'm glad you did, because I'm listening. I told you yesterday I was doing Uber and I was listening to a couple of your episodes, and I'm on the second or third one. And I like what you're discussing. You know, you're pretty much saying how you know, obviously you just mentioned you fell into podcasting kind of just like accidentally. It's like somebody accidentally sat you down in front of a mic and you're just like, what do I do? And they're like, talk. I like talking. Okay.
Yeah.
But I like that you kind of you're humble. You put the definition of, for example, one of the episodes you were talking about success and how important it is for the person or the beholder of it to determine what that means for them. And I like that you said that, because I don't know if other people have experienced this, but like in my life, in the past, I thought success was, and kind of what you said, I thought success was out like external things, car, house, money, financial stability, like different parts in your life are supposed to look like this, right? And that's what I considered success. And as I got older and even present day, I'm like, that's not what success looks like for me. So do you feel right now do you feel for you success is ever evolving, or you have like a constant of what you feel success is?
I feel like the baseline of my success is a constant. So, you know, I always explain it, and you've probably heard me say this if you've been listening to the podcast, is you know, I explain it like the foundational level, you know, is your values. And then, you know, then you have your priorities, and then you put up kind of your actions. And I don't think that your values change a whole lot. They may a little bit, but like for me, you know, my values is always going to lead back to my family on whatever level they need me at that moment. But like, I know that, you know, a lot of times obviously your action list is going to change, your goals are going to change. All of those things are ever moving. And, you know, the older I get, the more I refine it back. And it's funny that I actually lower my standards of success. It sounds really terrible if I say it like that, but you know, it's almost like, because, you know, again, I always thought it was, you know, you get the money, the house, the car, you reach this level, you get the title, you do, you know, you get to this point and then you're successful. And, you know, there's nothing necessarily wrong with those things, but, you know, for me, success means freedom. Success means being able to do the things that I enjoy. Success means that I can say, I'm clearing my schedule tomorrow because, you know, we're going to go hiking, or, you know, it means my kids are having a bad day, or my son, because, you know, a lot of people know my son's autistic. He's having a bad day. So, you know, I need to clear my schedule. Success to me means I have the freedom to be able to do those things and to move my schedule and to focus on the things that I find valuable at that time. That's what it means for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful, because, you know, at least I think with that, it kind of takes off some of the pressure, some of it, you know what I mean? Because what ends up happening is when you put it on certain material items, I feel that it makes you feel like you're in this stuff. And like what are those things that like a gerbil would be on?
Like a hamster wheel. Like a hamster wheel, gerbil wheel, whatever. Yeah. Rat wheel. Whatever you want to call it. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
I do. Yeah.
A wheel. A hamster wheel. Yeah.
I said that.
I don't know.
I said hamster wheel, gerbil wheel, rat wheel. Said all of the wheels, and you're like, I don't really know. All hamster wheel.
You know what it is? It was like crackling, and I was trying to like put my headset in because I was trying to charge my phone and blah 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 blah. But yeah,
I would say like, too. It's the nutter butter.
Yeah,
nutter butters have clogs your hearing.
It's just like, and this is gonna be like an ad. Like you're just gonna see like a thing like go across the screen. But yeah, you feel like you're on a hamster wheel. So I feel like, when you focus on, like, for example, like you and your family and what is really important to you, you kind of know like what you're focused on. Like it keeps you in
Yeah.
alignment to your values.
Well, and I definitely think for me, there needs to be a balance. Like, I love my kids with all my heart, but I do not
Yeah.
do well staying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
and not having something else. I have to have external things to do too. It's just
Mm-hmm.
me. I don't think there's a wrong or a right on that. Everybody's a little bit
Right.
different. But for me, we have discussions all the time. I'm very much driven in other ways,
Right.
in business and, some different things. So, I mean, I have to have those creative outlets or I'm actually miserable. I'm
Same.
completely miserable. I'm miserable to be around. I'm miserable as a
Mm-hmm.
human. I'm just miserable because I have to have that balance. But at the same time, if I don't have enough time for my family, like I'm having to push in, like if I'm in a big growth phase or whatever, I have to watch because I can get so hyper focused and driven that I'm only doing the work stuff. And then, my family environment starts to kind of lack a little bit. And that also kind of pushes me out of that successful mode, out of that balance. And I think
Mm-hmm.
I think it is for me, in my experience, I feel like it is definitely kind of a balancing act of, just realizing that whatever your priorities and your values are, that you're not letting any of them go at any given time, that you're, allowing yourself to kind of plan for enough time for each of them, whether that be family or friends or, alone time or, personal development time. Personal development is very important to me. Um,
Absolutely.
so, focusing on my business, but I think sometimes we can get so lost in the weeds on all the good things. And I've been there. It's like, oh, this would be really good for my business. Oh, this would be really good for me. This would be really, but I think we have to have kind of an overview plan of, what's going to be best for me right now, what's going to be best and fit into my priorities and my values, because it all has
Right.
to fit together. And I kind of use the analogy of like building a house, like
Mm-hmm.
your values are the foundation of the house, your priorities are the walls,
Right.
and then your action is the roof. So, if you just go ahead and throw the roof up there without any walls or any foundation, it's going to be like all the
Yeah.
time. Because I've
Literally.
done it. I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is a good list. And it is, on paper, it's an amazing list. It's a great list, except
Right.
for the fact that it doesn't fit into my priorities and it doesn't fit into with my values. If it's having me work, nonstop all day long. Well, and I know my values are also to be able to be available for my kids too.
Right. Right.
That's going to start to cause this imbalance. And I think it's easy to kind of accidentally kind of fall off the wagon on that. I find myself doing it
Yeah.
all the time. But, as soon as I realize it, I try to, okay, I need to sit down and look at my list again and reprioritize. And I think that's something, I don't think it's something that, you make it and you fix it and it just stays like that forever. I think it's one of those things that, it changes how much the kids need me. It
Right.
changes how much I need to do. It changes how much I need to put into my business. All of that's kind of ever changing. And so you have to kind of be flexible at the same time as kind of be a dedicated to know that you need to be able to look at all three aspects of that and not just, be flinging up the roof all the time using that same analogy.
Absolutely. And you know what the funny thing is, like I remember you were like, oh, I don't really like using that analogy, but it's a great analogy because, you need to have some type of base,
Mhm.
as you continue to build. And that's absolutely true. And I think as we mature, as we learn like what our values are, because I think that also is a learning process, then you start to develop that foundation. And I think that foundation develops at different times in your life. Some people develop it early,
Yeah.
some people a little bit later, but as long as like you're on some type of track to it, which I think even whether we're trying or not, we all are on it, like I remember I used to look at certain people a certain way. I'd be like, look, that's the option you chose. You wanted to do this type of life and things like that's not successful. Like you're going to end up hurting yourself and others. And now I look at it, I'm like, wow, like if you think about humanity, we're all trying to do the same thing, just in different ways. And some of it leads us towards what we determine as success. And some of us takes us way away from it. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
Well,
crazy.
And I agree. And I think that, within that, there's learning that goes along with it, and there's
Mhm.
maturing, and some people, and some people are the learn the hard way type of people. Like me and my husband always joke around that we're like the 2x4 upside the head, learn hard way type of people. When we're both stubborn. It's like,
Yeah.
we don't, I mean, it's like, it takes that for us to be like,
Right.
oh,
Right.
okay.
Because it has to make
Better.
sense. It has to
Yeah.
make sense. And I think that's what like quote unquote stubborn is, because I'm like that too. Like if somebody says, "Hey Stace, this is a bad analogy. Let me not use I was gonna use the keys in the car thing. Let me not. All right. Yeah, like let's say somebody says like don't wear those shoes when you go running. Like the
Yeah.
shoes are like skater shoes. And you're just like, but they're shoes. Like I don't understand why I don't need that. But then years and years and years of doing that, you're like, dang, I got back issues, or I have issues. Now I understand. Like if
Yeah.
somebody explains it to me in a sense where it's like this plus this equals this, I think about it in like math terms. If it makes sense, cause and effect, I'm all for it. You could tell me till you're blue in the face. Where's the data? Like I don't.
But do you think that, because I mean, I know for me, even if somebody explains it out, and this is in the past, explains it out, if I've not been in a life situation that ties the explanation together, I still am not going to get it. Like if you would have told my 16-year-old self anything, I would have argued with you and told you were wrong. You know what I mean? But and it could be said for several levels, even in my adulthood, because
Right.
until you've kind of like been there, done that, got the T-shirt. At least for me, not only do I kind of I look at things. I don't even look at it mathematically. Look at things, I guess, perspectively. I try to look at everything like from a different perspectives, but you can't look at it from a perspective that you've never perceived. You know,
I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
for me, I think that's why people like there's always like the wise grandma or the wise old man or the wise whatever on every show, and I think that's why is because it's life experiences, I think, that teaches us a lot about life and a lot about ourselves, a lot
Right.
about I think a lot of us are, even if we have self-esteem issues as younger, we still have this like way of being too self-assured and have self-esteem issues at the same time,
Interesting, right?
I mean, it's funny. It's funny because I think that is, kind of one of those things that, you kind of get knocked down a few times. You start to figure out, oh, okay, well, apparently I didn't know as much about that as I thought I did. And maybe I
Right.
should listen to somebody else, on that
Mm-hmm.
level. And I think it's important to have, and I think it's why it's so important to have like a network, and in business, where, in
Right.
business, have a network and have, like a mastermind group and have people you can, kind of put stuff off on, because, a lot of times they've been in experiences that you haven't been in. And
Right.
I know in my experience, I've got people that are older than I am, in
Mhm.
my network and in my mastermind group that, I'm the younger person that they
Right.
can kind of, talk to, even though I'm not that young anymore. And then I have people that I can do that to. I kind of mentor somebody younger than me, or,
Mhm.
even if they're not age wise younger, maybe they're like journey wise younger.
Right.
And I think that's super important to kind of think about. Hannah said she loved the 16-year-old me. As she knew 16-year-old me. 16-year-old me was interesting.
Oh God. What does that mean?
He's a lot of
You
things.
can't tell me nothing. Well, you're out there with like wearing mud jeans and like cut off
did
tees
have
with like
did have
a belly
she
button ring.
did not have a belly button ring, because my mom would have pulled it out. She told me, because I thought I told her I wanted to get a belly button ring, and she goes, "I'll pull it out," and I didn't believe her. So they had those pinch on like fake
Yeah,
ones.
I know what
So
you
put it
mean.
on. So I was like, she's not gonna do it. So I put it on, and I showed her, and she walked up, and she like, and I was like,
Oh,
"What have evil?"
that's hilarious.
No, I didn't, because I was terrified of my mom.
Oh my
Completely.
God. I always wanted to get my tongue pierced, which I eventually did. And I remember trying to hide that from my mom, but I did it
How
when
do
I
you
was
hide that? It's
18.
in your mouth.
What?
How do you hide that? Do you talk like this? How do you?
No, I just I don't know. I think people see it. I mean, have you?
So then you don't. Yes, I've seen it. That's what I was saying.
Oh,
How did you
oh,
hide it from your mom? I was like,
oh,
how would
wow.
you hide that?
Oh, I like spoke like
Because did
Kanye
she
West on
notice?
his first album. Like I was just like, "Hey mom, what's up?"
What's
She's
up?
just like, "All right." And I just didn't talk to her a lot.
My mom would have pinched my mouth and pried it open.
Yeah.
She would have known.
And it was crazy because your tongue swells up when you first get it, like a balloon. So I was like talking like this.
I've never even had the desire to do that.
It
doesn't sound fun.
I just did it for art purposes, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't.
Well,
I'm not going to explain.
That's okay. It's fine. But here's where we're going with this. I thought, and this is a stereotype again. I thought if you got it, then you was going to talk like this all the time. Because I'm sitting there thinking, think about like if you bite your tongue. I feel like my tongue is so big and I can't talk right because I'm thinking this would be like that all the time. So I've always wondered about that. And then I've always wondered lots of things with nose rings, which I've got a couple of kids that have the nose rings now. I never had them. I'm not against them. I actually think they look cute sometimes. But I always wondered, like, when this is stupid, but I don't care. When you blow your nose, how does it not like the pressure make boogers come out of your like? Why does that not happen?
I don't know. My ex had one. I don't understand what that's about. It's not my thing. It seems gross to me. But then again, this is coming from the person that has their tongue pierced.
Yeah, I feel like that.
So I don't know.
I feel like it's even grossness.
It is.
I think it's hilarious watching people adjust their nose ring. They're just pretty much like picking their nose in public all the time.
Yeah, they're like, hey, and you're just like,
because my daughter did that. I'm like, there's like COVID all over the world, and you're like, I'm adjusting my nose ring, and I'm like, you're picking your nose. Yes, there's technically a metal thing in there, but you are legit picking your nose. What's the definition of picking your nose? Finger and nose.
Finger and nose is picking.
Those two criteria. You're picking your nose.
It doesn't matter where you are in the circumference. You are picking your nose. No, yeah, I agree.
Nose picking. So
gross.
Yes. Speaking of nose picking, I went to the chiropractor. I'm going somewhere with this. Give me a minute. I went to the chiropractor.
Okay.
And I got my septums. Like your septums can be adjusted. I'd never had it done before. Yes.
The dude that you go to for your back can adjust your nose?
It is. It's a woman. But good job stereotyping there, Stacey.
I am so... Oh no!
Women can be doctors too.
What year is this?
So anyway,
can we vote? I'm just kidding. This is bad.
Anyway, yeah. So she's like, you're. Actually, she insulted me first. She's like, your eyes look kind of like sunken in. I'm like, dude, it's my Neanderthal brow bone my dad gave me. It's not my fault.
Oh my gosh, she said your eyes look sunken in.
Yeah, and they are, and I know that, but that's that. Like, I can't change it.
I didn't know that. That is that. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's my dad's Neanderthal. Like, yeah. So I said no. I was like, I know, it's my dad's Neanderthal brow bone. It's not my fault. She goes, no, I mean it's more than usual. I was like, oh, okay. And she said, I'd say your septums are out, and I was like, my septums are out. She said, yeah, if you don't mind me adjusting them, I'll adjust them. I was like, all right. So I lay there and she gloves herself and then she adjusts the septum. So pretty much she's professionally picking my nose. That's what it is. Because she shoves her gloved finger up my nose and then she adjusts the septum. But what was so weird, seriously, what was so weird is as soon as she got it done, I could breathe so good that all of a sudden I felt like I couldn't breathe out of the other side. So she did the other side. I didn't realize I couldn't breathe until she did that.
You mean this whole time you've just not been breathing?
I guess I've been like not breathing effectively because my septums were out of place and I didn't even know it. I got my nose. I paid her to pick my nose.
What possessed you to go and get this done? I didn't catch that.
I wasn't there. I didn't go to get it done. I was there because I have hip and back issues. And she does cupping, all that kind of stuff on me too.
Oh, okay. Got you.
So, but while I was there, that's when she insulted me about my eyes looking more sunken in. She said, because there was pressure from my deviated septum. So it wasn't only because of my dad's Neanderthal brow bone. It was also because my septum was deviated, or my septums and my nose were deviated.
So let me ask you a question. Is this something you have to do on a regular basis now? You got to get this lady
to pick your nose? I don't know. I guess I'll find out. I trust her. So she's like, I need to pick your nose. I'm like, okay. She didn't say it like that, but she said I'm adjusting. So I call it professional nose picking. And
what the heck? So are your eyes like, does it automatically, like, is it like she just goes like this and then your eyes go pew, pew, Like what?
Well, I mean, I still am going to have my dad's brow bone. So no, that's just going to stay the way it is. But she said that she could tell visually a difference. I don't know about visually, but I am telling you, I could breathe. I could breathe like mega, mega, mega. So it was funny because she could tell. She's like, you look like you got a lot of pressure right there. And she did that and the pressure went away. So I was like, so yeah, I never had it done before.
I almost want to like have somebody pick my nose now.
Yeah, just like you're calling chiropractor. Excuse me. Do you do professional nose picking here? I need to know.
Yeah, it's like, hey baby, Maria told me that you do professional nose picking. Is that right? I'm gonna come by after church. I'm gonna swing by.
Please do that. I will give you her number. Actually, I don't know if she's watching this or not, so I can't give you her number. We'll give you somebody else's number.
Yeah, but like, yo, I want you to give me the nose picking specialty.
I'll see if I can get you a discount code.
That would be awesome. Discount code. The code is pick out. Boogerama.
I like Boogerama. I really wonder, like, I wanted to ask, but I didn't think about it until way later. I'm like, what did anything come out of my nose way up in my brain? Like, did anything come out of there?
Right.
I didn't even think to ask because I was just actually.
What did the glove look like?
It was a white glove. I don't know. I didn't look at it. That's what I was saying. Like, I really want to know now.
Ugh. Oh, that's gross. What are you gonna like put in a jar?
No, I just wanted to know. I'm like, these are the things that hit my brain at like when I'm laying down to go to bed. I'm like, I wonder what was on her finger.
I would absolutely.
I wonder. I'm like laying there, and these are the thoughts that go through my mind. I'm like, I wonder what was on her finger when she pulled the glove out. I should have asked. I should have looked at the glove. I wonder what was on there. Was anything on there?
Right.
And then I'm like, do I really need to know? No, but does it go through my brain anyway? Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, it makes sense. Like it makes total sense. Like I get it. Sometimes I wonder if people are smiling behind their masks or are they just staring at me?
I don't know. Like some people smile with their eyes. I can tell when they smile sometimes.
They're smizing. Yeah, I've seen that.
I feel like I have RBF a lot anyway, so I feel like this has helped me a lot because people look at me and be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing." So now they don't do that because it's covered with a mask. So
I totally know now what you're talking about. Wow, RBF.
Yep.
People say my girlfriend has that. She kind of does. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I liked her.
You're like, I'll take
like,
you.
What you thinking about?
You look. Yeah. I know. People look at it like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. This is my face.
Yo, this is my face.
All the time. I have 7 kids. I should explain. Usually that shows up. I have 7 kids.
I have a football.
That's why that's why my face looks like this. My face looks like that because of that. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yo, I couldn't imagine. It must be a lot of fun, but then like suck sometimes, but a lot of fun.
Funny. I seen somebody shared a TikTok the other day, and it was probably the most relatable TikTok ever. It showed this mom, and it said the caption that the kids were gone for the weekend, and she missed it. And she's like, "Oh, I miss the kids. I just miss the kids." And then it shows the kids or shows her talking to the kids that are coming. She's like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, you missed her babies. I loved you so much." And they're coming in, she's hugging them. And it says like 5 minutes later, "Oh my gosh, do you have to make that noise? Oh my gosh, do you?" Because it's literally like that. It's like you miss them so much when they're not around you, but at the same time, you want them to go somewhere. But then when they're gone, you want them to come back because you miss them. But then when they're there, you want them to go somewhere. It's like hilarious. Pretty much you're just miserable all the time. That's how it is. Like,
oh my God.
Just, yeah. But in a loving way. Like it's like it's terrible and wonderful at the same time.
Oh my God. It
makes you bipolar. That's why I always joke around and say that parenting makes you like bipolar because it's like you love them, but you want to choke them. You want them right there, but you want them to go away. It's just like
so funny. Weird.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God. I'm sure I'll have different stories for you if and when I have my own kids.
Yep.
I'd be like, yo, so that poop story, got it.
Yeah. You'll be calling me, I don't know what to do. I'll be like your lifeline because I've been through all of it. I can give you 7 kids. I've been through probably every childhood experience that you could need to have advice on. I'm going to set up a service. I'm going to set up a service where you can just ask me. I'll just be like, no, this is good. You just say this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Done.
That would be very convenient.
Done.
Like, I'm pretty sure like there's going to be a day where like my kid just like craps everywhere. And I'm just going to be like, great. I'm taking that kid outside and I'm putting the water hose on first. That's literally what I'm doing. I'm just going to hose him down. Then bring them into one of those like little kiddie bathtubs that you put in the sink.
There you go.
Like, I'm gonna get one of those. I took care of my sister when, because I was 8 when she was born, so I kind of have an idea of the horribleness that can happen. Like I remember one time, like when she was a baby. Hopefully, she never sees this video because I'm gonna tell it. But when she was a baby, she was like playing with my brother. Like I'm talking like probably not even a year. And you know how kids are, they put their hand in their diaper and she had, crap on it. And she's just going like this to my brother on his face. Like, he's like, yeah, he's like
finger painting.
He's like, yeah, what's it? Like it was one of those situations. Yeah.
I'm imagining you dealing with this. And I'm really like wondering, like, I wonder if you would be like, I can't decide if you would be like let me clean it up and or if you'd be like, and you're like the one that's like holding them by one finger and hosing them down and screaming.
In reality, I would be like, this is disgusting. My face would look like this.
Yeah.
But I would get the job done. I'm not going to have that kid with crap all over them because that means you're going to touch stuff. And that's going to go, next thing you know, it's in your mouth. Yeah. It's not going in their mouth and it's not going in mine. So I'm the parent that's going to have like packs of baby wipes. Like we're going to be over prepared. Like we're going to have a 2-way radio for, I don't know what, but you need that.
You'll have a 2-way radio. Like, beep, beep, beep. All right, it's 2 a.m. I don't know what to do with this kid.
Yeah, but what are you doing? Kid's rolling over again, waking up at 3 a.m. You need to come get him over. Like one of those.
Yeah. I think it's good. Yeah.
You're like, that's great.
That's good. I don't think it's likely. Like my biggest thing was in the middle of the night, I was usually the one up.
Mm-hmm.
It was me. So then I was glaring at my husband, like murdering them in my mind because they're and I'm up with a screaming child that somehow they don't hear at all.
I don't understand that. Why is that?
I don't know.
I don't know how someone could sleep so heavy that they don't hear the kid crying and screaming. Like when my sister was young, like I would wake up. Like I would be like, yo, this kid's screaming. Like, I don't know. Maybe you just like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe women sleep lighter because like the kid is there. And men are just like, the men are just like,
she's going to take care of it. That's what I always said. Because I would have like full blown conversation. He'd be like, oh, I see how it is. That's fine. I got it. I got everything. Don't worry. You lay there. You rest. You get your beauty sleep. It's fine. I got this. Because I'd be like so angry. Like, exhausted, Yeah. Exhausted because I hadn't slept. Like at this point, I just now feel like I can sleep through the night. And it's been like 22 years.
Whoa.
21. Yeah. Well, because Jalen is 21. She'll be 22 in January.
Wow. You have a whole 22-year-old.
She's a whole one. Yeah.
A whole 22-year-old. That's crazy. Like, I remember when the first time you told me that, I was like, what? Like, I was like, how does the math work here?
Well, it depends if I give my fake age where I say that I'm 29 and then I say I found her on the road and adopted her because that's what I jokingly say a lot. And then my kids are like, well, she looks just like you. Like my youngest, because I'll be like, well, I'm 29. And they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, I am. No, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, I am. They're like, Jalen's 21. I'm like, so I found her on the side of the road. And she looked just like you. I know. It was really weird that I found one that looked just like me.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens on TV. Why can't it happen in my life? Like they were casted together at the same age or whatever. I don't know how to explain this, but you know what I'm saying.
I feel you. I feel you.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
I am. I'm picking up what my husband says that all the time. So that's why people think you're a guy right there. You just said like guy. That's a guy statement.
Oh man, I say guy stuff.
Maybe. I don't know.
Probably do.
My husband says that all the time. He'll say, you picking up what I'm putting down? I'm like, yep. It actually gets on my nerves because he usually says it in an annoying voice. He's not on Facebook.
Like,
And I can talk
like,
about it.
are you picking? Like he says it like, are you picking?
No,
what
he
I'm putting
says it
down?
where he's trying to be funny, but he's not funny.
It sounds funny to me.
Well, that makes it funny. That makes it funny.
It's probably maybe I do guy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that you can gender, like put a gender to that statement, but that
I mean,
made
do
me think
females say that, or am I the only
I
one?
don't know. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure some of them do.
6. There's 6 of them,
Yeah.
including me.
You can start a club.
Oh my God, I should on Clubhouse. Have you used Clubhouse yet?
I've been overwhelmed. I get on there, like it'll like notify me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll get on there, and they're having like this big conversation, and it's either like something I'm like, they're talking about that on here, ooh, or it's something I was like, ooh, I can do that, but my kids are like, ah! In the background, so I don't want to get on there my first time and be like, yes, hello,
Some kids like,
hi,
in the background.
yeah, they're like beating each other, mom, and I'm like, hi. It's funny because whenever I had my home office, which was for like a hot minute because that was the dumbest thing that I ever done in my life, is decide I was gonna have a home office with all of these kids. So stupid. But when I had my home office, a lot of my clients knew that I had a bunch of kids and I was working from home. It was fine. So I would just answer the phone and be like, I apologize if they're loud, whatever. But there'd be those few clients that I didn't want, to answer the phone, the kids like killing each other in the background. So I would get the call and I'd look up and be like, oh crap. So I'd like run up the stairs and into my master bedroom, lock the door, into my master bathroom, lock the door, and I'd stand in the shower like this. Hello. Because it sounded all like crazy and office-y in my shower. But what they couldn't hear in the meantime, my kids are like beating my master bedroom door down. Mom!
Oh God.
But yeah, that was the conversation and why that I have an office now, because that was awful. And this was before COVID. So when COVID hit, I was like, work from home. We're going to work from home. I'm like,
oh, now you celebrate it?
No, it's a trap. You scroll back into a lot of my social media, and I have been saying this for a long time. Working from home is a trap. Have you seen those all those like businesses are like, well, you'll be able to work from home. I'm like, dude, I don't want to work from home. Give me a job where I have to leave. Then we'll talk.
Only a parent or a caregiver is going to say like, I don't want to work from home. Everybody else, because me, I was like, yes, please. I want to work from home. I don't have kids. I don't have that.
It's a trap. Because then you're working for an 8-hour day and you have, 45 minutes of work done because you're getting interrupted every 2 seconds with, hey, mom, hey, mom, hey, mom.
Oh,
hey,
yeah. As a parent, yeah. Oh,
mom.
my God. Yeah, you can't. You can't. I remember when we, for the office I used to work for, we had a couple people, but we were in a call center working collections. So working from home is just an absolute zoo for someone that needs to be professional on the phone, needs to get, and it was a performance-based business. So you need to get a certain amount of payments, and it's just not, it's not beneficial if you don't have like a babysitter or something like that. And then the calls are longer because like somebody's like, is that your kid in the background? And the kid's like screaming and you're just like, whoa.
I mean, it's hard, and it's hard on both areas. I mean, and obviously I got shoved back into, having to work from home a bit during like the COVID stuff, just because, I didn't have access to the childcare that I did before. I didn't have access, I didn't have access to school. Everything changes. It's like this whole year's been like for all the parents. It's just, I think that, that just kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, though, of, kind of determining your values and your priorities, because, the way that I have my business now, when all the crap started changing early in the year, I was able to kind of make those changes. Now, I wasn't happy about all of them. I did not want to go back to homeschooling at all, but I was able to because I had already kind of got myself to a point where I could. And to me, that is success. I'm not freaking out about, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do all the time? No, I've had those moments. Trust me. I have those moments even now where it's like, crap, they're wanting me at this meeting, and I only work Tuesdays and Thursdays right now. Those are the days that I have dedicated for childcare, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they're wanting me at a meeting at this time. What am I going to do? And then I'm having to try to figure out, how to ride those waves. But all in all, I think that the biggest key is having your life set up in a way where you can manage it in a way that does make you feel successful.
Absolutely.
It does fulfill you. And I think some people get the idea that if you live a successful life and a fulfilling life, that means every second of every day is just going to be, butterflies and rainbows. And that's not the reality. You know what I mean? Or it's not my reality. My reality is definitely not butterflies and rainbows.
Who has that?
I don't know. I've heard some people talk and speak like speaking when I was doing all the speaking gigs, and I hear people talk. I'm like, wow. All right, wow. And I'm like, and my story is like, I like fall off a cliff and I'm like dragging myself to the other side while I'm still on fire.
Right.
Because that's my story. But
dragons are chasing you, and somebody just
like,
I planted petunias today. It was
I know. And I'm like, and honestly, that's where this name of the podcast came from, is because for the longest time, those are the stories I was hearing. I was hearing those stories of, oh, and I did this and it was so great. And I did this and it was so great. And I did this. And I'm trying to do this. And it's like kind of like, when your kid makes you an art project and you don't know what it is. I try to do this. It's like, I tried my best, I was doing my best, because at the very beginning of my business ownership journey, it wasn't all pretty. It was a lot of learning curve, and not only learning curve on how to do a lot of things, but also learning curve on what I could do, because I'm always been very much the overachiever. But then, a lot of the reason I started my business was to be able to be with my kids more, and specifically an autistic child, so that what Maria can do in her brain and what Maria can do in reality doesn't always, match.
Right.
And, I think that's important to, and that's why I kind of came up with that concept. And I started talking on that a lot, the values, the priorities, and the actions, because we teach what we need to learn. And that was one of the things that I needed to learn. It took me a while, to be able to figure that out and learn that. And, and I think that that's been the biggest game changer with my life, is going ahead and figuring out, when I'm making my plan, what is working, with my life at that moment, not my life 5 years ago, not my life 5 years from now, my life right now.
Right now. Absolutely.
That's that matters. And you put one foot in front of the other and you make your decisions, the best decisions that you can make, based on what you know right now. And sometimes you may figure out, oh, that was a great decision. You keep going, it still works. And sometimes you figure out, well, that was stupid, that hurt, not doing that again. And you can kind of change up and, kind of go with the flow on that. And I think that is so important to kind of figure out with your own life. And I always tell people, like, if you're struggling with your to-do list and time management and all that stuff, we can do a lot of the, tips and tricks and the calendars and all these things. And those things are great. Those are wonderful. But if your values, your priorities are not in line, it doesn't matter how amazing of a calendar or, time management system or whatever you have. It doesn't matter how amazing that is.
Right.
It is not going to work very long.
Right. And that's a very great point that you made there, because you need to know your why. Like, what is the whole point of this? Like, you could be as organized as heck. You could have all the right people in your circuit to exceed and grow and get what you want. But what's the point? Like,
absolutely.
Why is that important to you? Like, that's even something you asked me, and I had to think about it, and
that's my favorite. That's my favorite question.
It's such an important question. And I think, after meeting you and speaking with you, I had to realize, like, what is this for? Who is it for? Like, besides you, because like you said, you teach what you need to learn, but like, why is this important? Like, I had to really think about why creativity is so important to me. And it's because, I didn't think I was a creative person. I knew I was smart. Like, I'm somebody that I can absorb tons of information and explain it in the easiest of ways, but why should anybody care? Why should I care? Like, why is that important? And I had to realize, like, well, I know what it's like to feel like you have no purpose. I know what it's like to feel like your life has no value. So my goal is to help people that feel that way. Because, there's so many of us that don't make it past our teens. Like, we could, harm ourselves, harm others, and take our own lives because we do not know what our purpose is. There's so many people that fall into that, or take other courses of action that may not be helpful for them or their family, but it's really to help those people to look this person started off with quote unquote nothing, whatever we can, consider nothing as, and they were able to make it into something. You know what I mean? Those are the people that I want to help, but it's a very good question. It's a really, really good question.
And I think it's important to ask ourselves that in every aspect of our life. Like I ask myself that, and when I'm, creating something or, whatever, I'm coming up with a program or whatever it is, I'm asking myself a lot of questions. And one of those is, why would somebody care? Why would somebody need it? Why would they want to take the time to sit and listen? All the questions of why do I want to teach it?
Mm-hmm.
All of those are so important to understand. And, it kind of, again, goes back to the idea of perspective, because, to be able to take a step back and try to look at things from different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have the same why,
right?
Especially on the first few layers. But a lot of times once you dig back a bunch of layers, you'd be surprised on how similar the whys are. And I think if, just that alone, if we look for similarities in people more than the differences in people, even though differences are beautiful. I mean, I'm not talking about that. They are, but I'm talking about just the idea that we're not as different as, we think we are. Yes, yes, we have our own beauty and the differences and And I'm not talking about superficial, or I'm talking about layers and layers and layers back. Our whys are a lot the same. We want to be happy. We want to have freedom to do things we love. We want to spend time with people we love, So, I mean, it's going to be a lot of those same whys. And if you know that, then the idea is to look at that person's specific life and figure out, well, what path do they need to take to get to what they're wanting? Because if the goals are similar, because even when you talk about money, you'll talk to somebody, they'll be like, well, why do you want to do this? Well, I want to be able to make money. And if you ask them enough questions, you realize the money is really about the freedom the money gives, not about the money.
Right.
It still goes back to a lot of, the same things again. And I think those are really important, things to
110%. Like, what's the point of the money? Like, even if it is a sense where it's like, look, I just want to live life comfortably. Okay, but why? What is the point of living life comfortably? Is it because you want to be like, oh wow, a bill's due, and I don't have to be like, damn, where am I going to get this money from?
Yeah.
Like, where is that? Or do you just want to say, I have this much, these many numbers in my bank account? Like, what's the point? What's the point? Like, we only have this one life to live. Like, what is it for you?
Absolutely. And I know we've been talking for a while, so I'm going to wrap it up, but I was going to tell you, I don't know if you read the story. I'll have to find it and send it to you, but, and I guess I'll put it in the chat here. That way anybody can listen. But there's a article that I read it was a woman that worked in New York City, and she was making a lot of money, but she was just miserable. She was miserable at her job, and she quit her job, and she moved to an island somewhere and was selling ice cream for minimum wage. And she wrote this article in this magazine, was talking about how happy she was and how free she was. And I love that article because, again, a lot of times we tie in this idea of success in with money, but really it's about freedom, the freedom to do what we want and be what we want. And she was making way more money in New York, but she was tied down. She couldn't enjoy her life. And when she gave all that up and moved somewhere with a lower overhead as far as cost, she was able to way less money and spend her free time the way she wanted to. She didn't even have free time before. So, I mean, I think, again, to me, and this is completely a different mindset than I had a long time ago. I think when we're younger, we had I want this money and this and that.
Right.
But to me now, it's more that idea of the freedom. I want to be able to have the freedom. That's what's more important to me. I like the idea that I can say I work 2 days a week unless I decide I want to work more. I like the idea that I could do that. I wouldn't like if I was told I have to work, from this hour to this hour, this day to this day. I don't like that. I've been there, done that. As a teacher, don't like it. And, I mean, it's just to me, that's freedom. And And I think that, I love that story. I might find it. I
Yeah,
love that
send it to
story
me.
because I was like, oh, if I didn't have kids, I'd go move to an island and sell ice cream. This is amazing.
Yeah.
That does. It sounds amazing. Just you scoop I'd get bored. I'm not, I would.
You know you're a creative. You gotta do
I
something
am,
else.
but
And you'll be
for the
like, this new
moment, it sounds
flavors.
great. I know. I'd be like mixing. This is my own homemade ice cream.
Yep.
that I just did today.
Next
Yeah,
thing
I
you know,
can
you're doing
stop.
karaoke ice cream
Yeah,
sessions.
that would be great. That's an idea. Karaoke ice cream. So yeah, that would be my problem. That it's like everybody's got their drug of choice, and that's mine. I'm like, ooh, this is a good idea. Let's try this. I
Mhm.
text you all the time. I'm like, hey.
Yeah. My drug of choice is knowledge. I hyper consume knowledge. I could just sit for hours and just not leave and just absorb.
I love absorbing and I love creating. I love coming up with ideas. But I do, like, I get the machine working. It's a working machine. I'm like, oh, it's a pretty, watch it work. And I'm like, bored.
Yeah.
Next.
Watch it work.
I'm like a kid Christmas morning. You're like, oh, it's the best way I've ever had. And a week later, that's like laying somewhere. They don't even know it exists.
Oh my God.
I'm sad like that sometimes. I admit it. But
It's
no,
all
it's
good. I respect it.
I think it's because I think a lot of creatives are like that because they're always thinking of the next idea.
Yeah.
And as long as you're, finishing up your other idea, getting it solidified, sell it off or bring people in or, whatever, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Right. Agreed.
But all right. Well, we're going to hop off here and I will find that article at some point and I'll put it in here. I can't even remember where I read it, but so I want to say thanks to the people that commented. It's really hard to talk and read all these at the same time, but
I can't even see it.
I didn't even think about it. I should have put them up here.
It's all right.
So, well, Hannah said this totally different than Jamaican dumplings at one point.
Yeah.
I've never had Jamaican dumplings. I've had lots of Jamaican food, but not Jamaican
Love
dumplings.
Jamaican dumplings, the fried dumplings. With some callaloo.
Yep.
And with cabbage. Crazy.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Well, we'll cook it one day. We're gonna.
That's what we're gonna do. You're gonna cook dumplings, and I'm gonna cook whatever you tell me to cook.
Yeah, you gotta make the chicken and dumplings. I want to see that.
You're gonna make the chicken and dumplings. We're gonna trade recipes. You're going to make
we're not gonna make it together.
We'll make it together. But here's what I think. Unless you want to do two separate ones, you're gonna make some freaking chicken and dumplings, and then you're gonna make them and you're gonna eat them.
Well, of course, I want to eat them. That would suck if I just made them. Like, all right, well.
Yeah. So we can do each other's. Yeah. If that's I didn't know if you wanted to do it like you make chicken and dumplings and I make your recipe that you want me to make.
Okay. Yeah.
Or
we can do that. Yeah.
Or if you want to do the chicken and dumplings at the same time and then your recipe at the same time, I'm fine with that too.
That's better because then we can cook along with each other.
Okay. So I'll be like, and now we're chopping this, and you're like,
yeah. That actually, I like that because it'll be like a cooking class.
I'm gonna wear an apron.
Oh my God, I have to get an apron. I want it to have my face on it.
Do it. Just actually, you can get my face and I'll get your face.
Oh my God. Like, hey Maria, why is there like a random black woman on your apron? Hey Steve, why is there a random white woman on your apron?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
You don't know me. You don't know my life.
That's like, I have to tell a story and then we really will get off. I had an apron that the kids helped me make that had all the kids' names on it. It was like puff paint,
Yeah.
And it was right about the time that my oldest son, whose name is Brenton, started going by Brent. He come home from school. Yeah, he came home from school and announced that he is now Brent. He's not Brenton. He's now Brent.
Excuse me. Okay.
Yeah. So he came home from school, which he's 18 now, but this was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But so we had put Brent on my apron. So I've got my apron and it's like Christmas. I think it's Christmas or Thanksgiving. I don't remember which, but my sister came over for dinner and I've got this apron and she's like giving me like the sideways eye, like, yeah. And finally she's like, why do you have my husband's name? Because her husband's name's Brent. Why do you have my husband's name on your apron? I said, because it's also my son's name. And she was like, oh, we still joke about that. It's still like the go-to.
How would you even explain that? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
She's like, why do you have I was like, this is also my son's name, and it like clicked in her head. Ding.
Yeah.
So,
It's like,
about it.
oh, she went to full like, I will
Yep.
fight you
Yep.
mode.
Yeah, she was all like, why? Because it wasn't like it was her name or anything normal. It was like my kids, and then it said Brent. But I was like, you didn't notice that? I don't know that number one, I have a son named that. And number two, that he would have been missing if if that was my husband Brent. So yeah, it was funny, but
It's ridiculous.
So all right, well, we're gonna hop off for now, and that is spontaneity. I have no idea what spontaneity is going to be. Spontaneity, right?
That's the best part.
What does Stacey and Maria have for us today?
Yeah.
Well, we do know that it's going to be an apron.
Yeah, there's an apron. We're going to be cooking on here. We have lots of things to look forward to. Great conversation.
I like the idea of your face on my apron and my face on your apron.
I think that would be amazing. They're like, where'd you get? Can you imagine somebody's like, where did you get that? That is so cool. And you're like, what?
We're just like randomly chopping up. Like I imagine myself, like in my mind, I imagine myself like chopping it all professionally. But really, I'm like this.
Yeah, like one at a time.
Yeah, because I'm not like on TV. I'm like, but in my mind, I think I'm
right.
Like,
yeah, in my brain, I can do it, but in real life,
nope, that's me too. I'm like, I got this, and then I'm like,
nice and gentle. You're like cutting through it, like
yeah,
ridiculous.
So, all righty. So I will put end. So bye to everybody.
Thank you guys for joining.
It's always awkward when you're getting off because I'm like, where's the button?
Yeah, and then you're just waving for 10 minutes. See you guys next Tuesday.
All right, bye.